Hi, this is Kara. Welcome to Breaking Free Fridays, or welcome back if you've been following the series. It's really great to have you here. So today I was inspired to talk about how seeking closure can keep us stuck. And this is such an important topic because obviously it's natural for us to want to have closure on different things. If a relationship ends, or something has happened to us that is really challenging, or hard, or even horrible, we want to understand why. We want to understand what was going on that contributed to what happened. And the idea behind this is that there will be freedom, that will feel better in the knowing and in that closure, or even some kind of resolution that we think will come from another person, or a greater understanding of the circumstance that we're trying to get closure from. But here's the thing. Our relationships, the quality of our relationships, the quality of our life, the experiences in our life, they are all by virtue of the meaning that we give them, that we give the experience. And while it can be helpful to have like some reflection and things like that in these experiences or in relationships, things that have happened in a way that we didn't expect or we didn't want, or something like that. However, oftentimes we can find ourselves really getting stuck in ruminating about it, just going over and over again, almost to the point where we're getting caught up in the why me, the injustice of something being unfair, and on the surface it may really look like that, it may seem like that. And yet when we take a step back, when we allow ourselves to have more of a look on life from a place of curiosity, from a place of a higher perspective, from a place of that deeper connection to source energy, to the divine, to God, however you relate to that most. When we take that bigger look at things, and when we allow ourselves to accept in faith a greater opportunity for life, a greater possibility, a greater plan, something that's a tapestry that's so vast and so beyond what we can comprehend in our human mind, and in this experience, versus the vast oneness that is represented in all of universal consciousness and that bigger plan. It's like, surrendering into the belief and the knowing that there is something greater at play, not only for our own individual soul evolutions and journeys, but also on a macro level, familial, community-wise, nationwide, worldwide. You could just expand beyond and beyond and beyond. But it's important to remember that, and also to realize that when we notice ourselves getting caught in really wanting to seek that closure or understanding, that it's actually an invitation to go deeper within. Because when we are in a place where we're really looking for that external validation, an apology from someone else, a recognition from someone else or something else of our point of view, of our experience, and while witnessing of our experience can be incredibly valuable through the right community and safe support systems, seeking that from people that maybe we felt we were wronged by, that is perpetuating, giving our energy and our power away to them, or away to that circumstance, instead of going going within, instead of seeking within. And one of the things that I'll share just as an example that I think might be helpful. If you've been watching my videos, you've probably heard me talk a little bit before that I grew up in a family with an alcoholic father, and my whole childhood, my father was an alcoholic, and I experienced the progression of that and the effect and the dysfunction that had on me individually, and then also on our family, and the dynamic that was at play in that, and the abuse. In my healing journey, as I was discovering different different things, unraveling different things, realizing that I actually carried quite a bit of trauma, and really was unraveling some of this. There was a point in time where I had this opportunity to figure out, okay, do I need to go to my dad and, in essence, I mean, not in a negative way, but call him out for some of these things, and bring up things that were really challenging for me, that were wrong, in the attempt of getting some kind of explanation directly, or some kind of understanding from him, or some kind of apology or atonement, or something that was deeper. And the choice was, do I do this, or do I do my own inner work and my own healing journey, because I can really come to a level of peace without that. We don't need that from another person. We can find it from within. And I ultimately chose to do the inner work and to find that peace from within instead of seeking it from him. And as I was jostling between these two things and reconciling which direction I wanted to take, one of the things that became really apparent to me is that while my dad at that point in time had already realized many years of sobriety, he had done enough work that he would have probably been considered more of a dry drunk. So he definitely had done enough work to stay sober, but not as much to go like into deep healing or reconciliation work and things like that. And so one of the things that I noticed and I realized is that my understanding and my awareness of things was already at a different place than what my dad's was. And so for me to seek resolution from him, it would have been asking something of him that he wasn't really able to give. And so if I brought all of this stuff up, it would be bringing things to the surface, and to him that would have been really jarring, and a different perspective on what happened in my childhood than he held for my childhood from his own perspective, which I had already had an awareness of, what his perspective was. And so I knew that would be a jarring realization. And so was weighing, like, would there be a benefit? Was there a benefit to him? Was there a benefit to me? Was it to the benefit of our highest good that I bring this up to him? That I seek that kind of apology and that kind of reconciliation? And at the end of the day, I decided that it was more important to move forward into a possibility of the greatest type of relationship that I could have with my dad, in the way that he was able to show up in life as, this sober version of my dad that I am so grateful that he was able to find that pathway to realizing. And obviously, there's a lot of feelings that you go through in this journey. I certainly experienced that to come to a place of peace. But once I got there, it basically allowed me to be in relationship with him in a whole different level. And I am super grateful for that. I was able to let go of the vision or the expectation of the dad that I thought that I should have or would have had, to be able to fully and completely appreciate the incredible dad that I did have. And that is a true gift. And so I share this because there's so much that we can gain by really doing that deep inner work and going back within. So wherever we are trying to seek closure externally from ourselves, why did this person do this? Why did this happen for me? It is such a huge invitation to flip that around and really explore, how is life working for me? What possibilities is this opening up for me? And I'm not suggesting doing this in a way that bypasses your very valid feelings of a particular situation or experience that has happened. It's just a way of moving through it that brings you to a place of greater possibility, of greater momentum, of greater potential, that really brings you into that place of empowerment and an opportunity to really break free in ways that you may not have realized were even possible. Sometimes there isn't truly an understanding in this moment to be had. It's one of those things that we may get the reflection of later on as we put together different pieces. It may be something that we realize in a different lifetime, if you believe in that. So I just offer this opportunity for you, and I challenge you to look at areas where you might be finding yourself stuck, spending energy and spinning, around and around, seeking closure externally around an event that has happened to you, some relationship that fell apart, something like that, and where there's opportunity to heal inside and find alignment within yourself, so that you can bring that empowerment back into a focus that is so much more driven by possibility, and that's centered in faith and the wonder and the beauty that is life, instead of the things that are wrong with life or the injustices that are happening. It's like allowing yourself this broader perspective of life in general, something beyond, the idea that this is unfair or this is unjust, and really thinking and looking at ways where you're in a place where your nervous system is so regulated, you feel so safe and centered within, so aligned, that it becomes easy to see these bigger perspectives and these different possibilities. So I am wishing that for you, and the freedom that comes with that, that really allows you to really grasp onto the possibilities and the potential of life, because there is so much that is amazing and to be grateful for right now in this very moment, and also how life is lining up to really serve you in the highest way possible. Would love to hear your thoughts on this, where you may have noticed yourself getting stuck in a place of seeking understanding and closure to be able to move forward, but you find yourself actually getting stuck in that instead of actually moving forward, because it's basically a giving of your power away. And if you find these videos helpful, please share them with loved ones. Help others find their way to greater empowerment and ability to break free too. And send a like. I hope you have an incredible week. Here's to your next level of empowerment and breaking free. Bye for now.